why am I brain dead? I took my son to the ophthalmologist. He woke up this morning with, I called it a sty. Does this look ridiculous? No, I think it looks fine. I look, and then let's try this one. Is this a better one? Does this look less ridiculous? Is the right shoulder whoa, edgy. Okay. I can show skin later. What is that? Flour? I made baked goods today. No, it's just a random hair. Took my son to the ophthalmologist today. He woke up with like, I thought it was a sty, and then you get paranoid because styes are supposed to be the most contagious thing on earth, right? The sty. And we went to this new guy in Arcadia. Arcadia sounds like a different planet, and it kind of is a different planet. Just checking to see that we're actually live streaming. Are we live streaming? Yeah. Can you tell that I'm losing my mind? Yeah, there's the still of me showing my cotton lingerie. We went to this guy who was recommended by the ped as the pediatrician in Arcadia, which is in Bumblefuck. It's only 25 minutes away, but you feel, California, like most of America, there's the hubs and then there's the strip mall land, like the valley's all strip malls. Here you have at least pockets of hipsterism and neck tattoos, but in Arcadia, no neck, well, maybe there are neck tattoos, but not in our area. And some dumpling shops, which I noticed. And this doctor who is probably in his mid 80s. Now, I don't know any doctor besides like your most basic GP, your general practitioner, that just has to be like referring you to a specialist no matter what you come in for. Like my head hurts, go get an MRI. My skin hurts, go to a dermatologist. I don't think you want any doctor in their 80s. But again, maybe he's more crisper. Maybe he's crisper than I am. Maybe he's more on top of it than I am. And you think he works with kids and he'd be all soft and fuzzy. No, very, very salty demeanor. But thousands of pictures of his grandchildren, 2 grandchildren. I got to say they are gorgeous. So I get it. This was definitely a narcissistic moment because you get the proud grandpa. But literally, when I say thousands, they were along, not only in the office. There were probably, not exaggerating, about 30 framed photos, but the hallways were lined with photo, like floor to ceiling of these kids. And they're very like Aryan, Hitler's wet dream, like beautiful blonde locks and blue eyes. They're just like, I'm innocent. So thousands of these photos. I was expecting them to be plastered across the bathroom, but that might also be sketchy. So I'm glad he didn't do that. I'm going to shut my email program because God knows what important business correspondence I'm getting now. It was actually from my son's school, the social emotional community meeting. Now they're worried about kids. Let's do a hair up. Let's do an updo. That looks like something out of Downton Abbey. I'm so sorry, sir. I'll go back downstairs. Social emotional learning, right? That's the buzz, like the buzzwords like mindfulness and holding space. When people hold space for other people, that's something I haven't held space for someone literally in 7, 8 months, 9, maybe it's 12 months. I can't blame the pandemic. Can't blame the pandemic on the celibacy. Well, maybe I can. Let's blame the pandemic for celibacy because I am being super careful. My dates literally sit 20 miles away from me. I've now moved them a little closer to about 15 feet, but it really gets the juices flowing. So now my dates keep responding with not feeling that romantic connection. I'm like, well, how would you when we're literally out of focus? We really can't see each other, which maybe is better because some nights I'm a little on the crustier side. And it is California. I feel like the expectation is I'm supposed to show up for a hiking date wearing like a Lululemon ensemble. That's, you know what I mean? So me showing up in flip-flops and a jumpsuit with my cotton Gap bra is not exactly a winning look for a California date, or any date maybe for that matter. I don't come in neglected. I bathe. I do a little bit of schmutz, but I'm not a big schmutzer. I never put lipstick on because then I don't know, it just feels weird. I don't know why I'm touching my face like this. But I don't wear these. These don't show up. So I will go usually braless because my boobs are perky, and I feel like that's an asset that needs to be accentuated, and especially from 15 feet, you know what I mean? And I do this a lot. I do that a lot. So people think I have a cocaine problem. It's only allergies, but it's a lot of that and that. And I'm like, it's just allergies. Where's my Claritin? Never really did coke. It never appealed to me for some reason. I don't know why people do it. it seems like a horrible drug, and I never like anybody on it. Like people are really annoying on it. So are people aware of how annoying they are when they're on it? Because they feel confident, but talk about like a dissonance with what you're presenting to the world. You'd think that something that makes you feel confident is justified, and then you end up exuding this nice confidence that's awe-inspiring. But people find Tony Robbins awe-inspiring, and he terrifies me. He seems coked up. He probably was a big druggie for a while, and then once he started the workshops, he got clean. I don't know. Wasn't he like, I think there was some sort of sexual harassment thing. I don't know. You've been watching The Vow? I've been watching The Vow, too. I'm going to talk to my comics about this, too. Our first comic, who's going to roll in any minute now, Dwayne Perkins, I've known for a very long time. Dwayne and I did a very interesting musical called Funny Business, and it was about stand-up comics. And I'm surprised it didn't become a hit. I got to be honest. The producers tried for a very long time to get it going, and they had all these big investors come in, and it was really comics that are like doing stand-up, but then I would burst out in song because I don't think the other comics could really sing, and if they did, it was one of those like, I can kind of sing. And it was fun, and it was funny, and very moving. I think my character, really wanted to make it. And at the time, I still had hope that I would make it. There was still hope. Oh, there's Dwayne Perkins. What's going on? Oh, you got unmute. God damn it, with the ask to unmute. I asked to unmute. There it is.
Oh, yeah. Good to see you. Yeah, I'm sorry. I had 4:30, and then I saw somewhere that said 7:30, and I was all confused. But
oh, well, that's the New York. I try, for people that are very self-involved, that don't know how to calculate the time difference, I'm afraid that if I put one time zone, they're not going to get it. If I just put 7:30 Eastern, they're like, well, we're in LA, so I don't know. So I feel like I need to do the math for both parties, not just LA.
No, thank you. Hey, I'm sorry I was a few minutes late.
It's all good. I was talking about Funny Business.
Nice.
How we met.
Yes.
And how I thought it was a pretty decent musical. Don't you think? I thought it had potential.
I think so too. I think that the people, like the general note that people gave was that they thought the comics needed to sing, but I thought they had a nice workaround.
I think it was a good workaround. People. Yeah, a good reach around the whole thing. I feel like you don't want comics doing like the bad talking singing. That works in Hamilton. You know what I mean? Even that looks annoying.
Exactly. But they had great singers. I'm forgetting the girl's name. I think the guy's name was Jason. I feel they did voices. They were tremendous. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was like, imagine going to see a play, and then
you're talking about Hamilton. You're talking about us.
I'm talking about us. I haven't seen Hamilton yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen Hamilton either. I'm like, okay, I haven't seen Hamilton. No, the music was really good too. The music was good.
Oh yeah, and you get, and the stand-up was great. So you had like,
yes.
I don't know. I know they did different iterations of it. I'm not sure if they took.
I don't know what iteration we were in. Like, what did we do?
Maybe 2 or 3. I had a friend who had done it before me, but it was solid. I mean, it was like we did at the Coronet. Is that the name of the theater?
Coronet, which then became Largo, which I guess is like the hippest venue in town. Largo.
Oh wow, that's crazy. Largo already existed before that, but it was like the name of a show and not a place.
Oh, maybe it was Largo, right? Where they do like Sarah Silverman and Judd Apatow, all the comics do their stuff.
Well, that was a good time. That's when I first discovered Real Food Daily, and
you know who I saw once at Real Food Daily? I'm not a healthy eater. I'm not a non-healthy eater. Like I'll do a box of Milanos for breakfast. I won't lie, and I'll have a bowl of pasta with like feta cheese. That's my delicacy at like midnight.
Right.
But Real Food Daily, when the places that smell healthy, they have that smell. Maybe it's the ginger or the fucking patchouli oil on people. But I remember I was at the register and I turn and I look a little down and it's Anthony Kiedis of Red Hot Chili Peppers, who I guess was a regular.
That sounds about right.
But he was like shorter than me, and I'm short.
Wow.
Yeah. Short. That's
maybe
all I have to say.
Maybe he has a song Under the Bridge.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just an overpass. Maybe it wasn't a bridge. Maybe he thought it was a bridge.
It was just like a little pedestrian walkway. Oh my God. Well, they were all on heroin at that time, so I'm sure they saw lots of bridges.
Right.
When you do your stand-up, because you've been doing like a shitload of Zoom shows, are you performing? You going to Punchline Philly? Like some clubs are open. Are you going anywhere?
You know, I haven't tapped into that, and I kind of want to, but the Zoom life is actually pretty good too.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
like today, I was like, oh, you know what? It was 4:30 because I was like, that's why I'm home. I'm like 4:30, and then I saw 7:30. Then I was like, wait a second. Oh, and then like imagine if you like a real show, I would have been like, I'm not making the show.
You're not
right?
making the show.
So
Well, I think you're probably
so
more
the Zoom
relaxed
life
when
has
it's a
been
Zoom
good.
show. You would have been more on it if you had an actual gig you had to drive to at Comedy Magic Club. You'd know
Yeah,
exactly what time,
probably,
right?
probably.
Are you
But
still
I think that,
are you still dating that nurse? Are you putting yourself in harm's way for the sake of love and sex?
yeah, I take my risks. You know what I mean?
I have been very neurotic. I was lamenting my celibacy. I am very neurotic. I guess you started dating her before the pandemic, or I don't know. Did you meet her during? Did you meet her in the hospital? What's going on?
Right. What happened was I had COVID. No.
She intubated me. I had an erection, and it was like we just clicked. We just clicked.
No, yeah, before, and I don't know. I'm enjoying it. Not enjoying. I think thriving more than most during this whole thing because the first 4 months I was working. I had like my job on the game show.
Oh,
It
right. You
just
work on a
kept
game show. Which game show is it?
like
Remind me.
going.
Right.
Funny. You should ask.
Okay. You're breaking up a little bit. I don't know if
No
that's
pun
just me
intended.
or you're just in a sketchy internet location, but there was a little bit of delay. That's inevitable, I guess.
I don't know, Mike. I'm closing a bunch of windows and see if that helps.
Me too. I'm
Can
going
you
to
hear me?
close Windows too, because I was on Pornhub at the same time, and I feel like that's not appropriate. So I'm going to shut that down.
Also, I was watching something on what do you call it, on Amazon, and I'll make sure that I stop it because
Okay. Yeah. Please just leave us now. Yeah. He's just going to go and kind of surf.
Oh, yeah,
Do you surf the TV? What do you call it when
sorry,
you
I had to walk away
channel
to make
surfing?
sure.
Channel
Yeah, I'm
surfing.
good. What do you say?
No, I was remembering it's the term to channel surf, because now I feel like surfing is just the web. But do you channel surf when you click on the? I don't have a TV. When you click on the remote, what is it?
Yeah, no, I channel surf when I'm on regular cable.
Yes,
but
it's channel surfing. Okay.
Not really though, because
Okay. Dwayne, can I ask you a question? If you
Yes.
were on a date with me in an alternate universe, okay?
Yes.
And I wore this with this really rudimentary cotton bra, would this be a turnoff? Would you be like, can she not invest in a little sexier like lingerie or undergarments?
Well, I like that shirt you have on. I like that.
It's a one piece. It's like a whole thing.
Oh, I love it. I
thought
love
maybe
it.
if I did that, if I show up like this to the date, and then it's more
Okay.
like, let's go salsa dancing.
That's-
Everything is open.
That's better, right?
Okay,
But when you have it up, I've always liked like what was the movie Flashdance? The wide sort of
scoop
open
neck.
collar thing.
The scoop
Yeah,
neck.
scoop neck. So I've always been a big fan of that. Now, in terms of the bra, I don't want to be sexist or
Well, I'm
I don't
asking,
know.
I guess, a sexist question, but that's fine. So
No, meaning that I would. It's not even sexist. It's something. There's an ism or something I'm about to say because
Please.
I think for a guy to give you any kind of demotion or take off
right.
points,
If he's
like-
internally judging, though, if he's internally judging,
I know, but I just don't. I don't think that's a straight guy thing to like really worry about.
okay.
And it maybe some guys. To me, it would like the fact that I could see the bra is more important than what kind
Is
of
a
bra
point.
it
Is a point. So if I'm bringing it back just to kind of experiment with different looks, because this is what I do.
Yeah.
I just sit in front of Zoom and work out different looks.
Because it's like you're looking at second base. You know what I mean? So that's
it's a roadmap. It's just a roadmap.
right.
And that's why I believe in camel toe. You really want to kind of guide, I know it has a bad reputation, but if you really just want to kind of display, but also guide. So in case it's hazy,
exactly.
there's wildfires.
What you need men who are mature enough to see it, appreciate it, but don't speak on it. That's the thing.
Right. Appreciate just with the male gaze, right? The male gaze that we obsess over so much. I don't adhere to the girly looks, and I never know. I say to myself, I don't want to attract a guy who that's so important to. But then sometimes I feel like I do underplay a little too much. I do show up like I rolled out I rolled out of like making mac and cheese for my son and show up at the game.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I feel like I need to find a middle ground. But like, if
No,
he's gonna
you
love me,
always
he's gonna love me like this. You know what I mean? But maybe that's not true.
right.
Maybe they won't
I
love me like
mean,
that.
yes and no. I think you wanna put the work in. You always want to put the work in, but look like you didn't put the work in.
Yeah.
That's
Yes. Well, with guys especially, right? Yeah. So to
yeah.
speak. Again, we all have our weird, I don't want a
Exactly.
guy. Yeah, I don't want any flashy. I went on a date the other 2 weeks ago with a guy whose shirt was shiny. It glistened.
Right.
Not for me. I mean, there was like a wild print, and the fabric, it wasn't polyester, but it was like cotton imbued with some sort of reflective substance, and it was no.
It feels a little bit like peacocking, which if you already are on the date, you don't need to do. If you're at a nightclub and you need to stand out,
lights just have like.
right. But like you're on a date, just keep it. Wear button up or a sweater, just keep it.
Just don't have a weird stain. Don't have a sketchy stain on the shirt.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? Or if you do.
But men have it easy. I mean, all we have
You're
to
right.
do is be neat. Like he swung for the fences and he missed. At least with you, he missed.
Yeah.
And all they had to do was just show up. But I don't know. I think everybody wants to have a sort of a more personality. They want their personality. They want to wear it, kind of.
Right.
So.
Yeah, you have accountants showing up in like gold lame jumpsuits. You need to overcompensate.
Exactly right. I love that couch, by the way. It looks like
thank you.
Like the waiting room to the Madman.
It is the waiting room to the Madman. John Hamm is waiting in the corner.
Right.
I got it. I talk about this sofa a little too much for anybody's taste because I got it on like Wayfair. That like Uber cheapo or All Modern.
Right.
They're all the same mega company in whatever. And it looks more expensive than it is, but it also is as comfortable as a church bench. Like it's extreme. It's like literally a waiting room. It's not like, let's watch a TV show. It's that's why I'm sitting on the floor. That's why I'm not on the sofa right now.
Yeah. You don't encourage couch surfing.
Are you balming your lips? Are you literally applying balm?
Yeah. Just
okay.
I didn't do it before, so.
You didn't do it before. No, I get it. I haven't. I need some chapstick. You're right. I never think about these things. Now I'm going to do that. I do this a lot, and I was saying earlier that people probably think I have a cocaine problem. This is like a tick. This is a tick. I have this tick, and I have this when I'm thinking and writing. I do that, so I can't write without.
Right.
It's so weird, and that's why my mouth looks like I've been smoking for 40 years. Need to get the word on. Get a little filler. Just a little filler.
Look like that. Right.
Next time you're going to see me, you're going to be like, do you look different? I'm like, no, I haven't had anything done.
Yeah, I don't even know my ticks, but when I tape myself, I go, that looks like a tick. But I think I'm okay with my ticks. I think they all work for me.
It's like a one big mega tick. The gestalt of the tick is like a nice gestalt.
Right.
I always, my side hustle is public speaking coaching. Mm-hmm. And I work with people that really have no awareness of their body. And I try and tell them because a lot of times these coaches, they tell people to stop doing the stuff they do, but then people get more in their head. Like if you're a pacer and you tell someone not to pace, they're just, you know what I mean? It's like literally going to bottle up and explode out of their nostril. So it's just about, not making it a thing. Just groove when you're speaking. You know what I mean? If you're going to pace, you just move a little bit.
That's exactly right.
Do that a lot.
Yeah.
You're wearing, was this a brown, like a Lacoste, like an Izod shirt? What is this? What are we wearing?
This shirt. Yeah. I mean, it's like from H&M.
Okay.
Even though as a black person, I guess there was some little beef with H&M. So,
what was the beef? Was there some sort of racist advertising campaign?
Yeah, I think there was. I only know the broad strokes of it. Basically, I think it was a situation where they had pictures of people.
Yeah.
And or people in clothes, and then like there wasn't a black person in clothes, but there was like a monkey in clothes. Don't quote me. It was something like that.
Wow.
That was sort of they tried to sell it as an oversight, and it may have been, I don't know.
Well, what else are they going to sell it as? Well, we were actually targeting a white supremacist clientele that we appreciate so much. Have you felt? I had John Laster on last week, and I don't know if you know John. Do you know John?
I'm not sure. The name is not jumping out at me, but
okay. So John Laster just works a lot at the Cellar and hosts a lot at the Cellar, and And once Black Lives Matter, the protest started, and he started sharing stories of, his experiences with police brutality and the stop and frisk stuff, and
Right.
how he kind of stayed away from comedy and doing these skits for a while and was more in that. How have you felt during this time? And like, have you felt the need to like, oh, should I be doing as much comedy? Should I talk more about this? Should I be this? Or did you not feel like, no, I'm doing what I'm doing and I'm not gonna, I don't, like what was your head?
Well, I definitely felt the need to put out less sort of like frivolous content, just
Okay.
sort of like,
Yeah.
just sort of like take the focus off myself. But in terms of now like being a spokesperson, I didn't feel the need to do that, only because, like I have this script. It's going to be a long way about it, but I have a script that I wrote about an enabler. Okay, I really, it's like I don't want to give away the premise, but it's one of my favorite. I came up with the idea at an AA. I performed at an AA place, and I came up with this idea. I think it's a really good movie. Me and my buddy Aaron wrote it, and so just trying to drum up support. And I'm like, well, who could get behind this? A lot of times nowadays, you get sponsorship first, and then you work backwards, kind of thing.
Right.
So I remember sending it off. I contacted a guy at I think it's Al-Anon. The
Are you in AA? Is that why you're performing?
No, I'm not an AA.
Okay.
They just had a comedy show.
Nice. You're like, I just crashed an AA meeting and started doing my set, and they're like,
yeah, they booked me. They booked me. But the Al-Anon guy got back to me, and I explained to them what the screenplay was about, and and it was really from the viewpoint of the enabler, not the alcoholic, because everything is about the alcoholic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes.
And so, he said to me, he got back to me, which was great. And he said, sounds like a great idea, but, we can't get involved with any of it because it's sort of like.
Well, isn't that a code of ethics? You're not allowed to talk about. It's like in their
Right,
thing.
right. It becomes an immediate sort of like conflict of interest. It's sort of like we're not trying to get any fame or anything from this except help the people who are, in relationships with these alcoholics or these people who are addicts.
So you're like, fuck you, you enablers. I'm going to get some alcoholics to sponsor this shit.
Right. No.
Have a little fun, guys. Loosen up.
Right. And so with the whole Black Lives Matters thing, obviously I support the concept, if not the organization. Right. But I wouldn't want to like make that my calling card, which it can become so easily. Like if you find yourself just like, I think you find yourself saying, okay, let me use my voice, whatever, how big or how small it is, to shed some light on it. And I did I did some posts about it and everything. Okay. But then it can easily slip into like, wow, I'm getting a lot of attention. I'll be the social justice warrior now. And I didn't want to use it for my own personal.
Do you feel like some people have exploited it to that end?
Yeah, I think, and that's not a bad thing necessarily. If you start it and it just seems like that's where the universe is moving you, and that's going to be your thing, that's great.
Right.
But yeah, some people I think want to, like, it's more like, well, if I can be the social justice warrior like for 6 months, then maybe I'll listen to my other content. You know what I mean? I think you have to kind of.
Yeah. I hear you. Look, I think only they can really tell if they're being authentic and coming in from a part, and maybe part of it's mixed. But if the end result is raising awareness and getting people out there, and if they end up getting more fun, good for them. You know what I mean? It's but exactly. I get it. I get it. Yeah. Well, let's end on that dark.
Well, but I do. I think I encourage people by encouraging them to take care of their side of the street and calling people on stuff. Don't get me wrong, I'm about justice, but I tell people I don't have that much faith in the whole thing. Okay. So I try to work with people on an individual level.
Individual basis, sure. Yeah.
Because when I get on the plane,
anytime it's an organization, there's going to be issues, and certain people in the organization you like or don't like or believe or don't believe. You know what I mean? So it's always hard when you're like, oh, okay,
And if you want people to have these paradigm shifts, like people can't put their like luggage in the overhead compartment with the wheels first. Like I'm like, just do that for like. You have
a carry-on. Talk me through that one, Dwayne. I agree with the wheels, but
you have a carry-on. You have a carry-on, right?
I do have a carry-on, a Samsung.
And you put it above. Yeah. And you put it the long way.
I do. Because it doesn't fit. I don't. It's not small.
Okay.
Enough.
If it doesn't fit, but if it fits, it should go wheels first. And I see so many people. It fits. They just put it anyway, or they put their wallet up there or something. And so when I see that, I'm like, you want people to sort of like have empathy for people they've never met, change their whole way of thinking, but they can't not dick over the person who's sitting next to them on a plane. You know what I mean? So I think like baby steps. Like,
Okay.
I feel like that it just lessens my faith in sort of mobilizing people when I see people behave badly. You know, and if you can't fit yours that way, that's fine. But I see people just with just utter disregard, just sheer disregard for the next person. And maybe you can tap into that person's empathy. It doesn't mean it's not there,
Right.
but it just
Right.
doesn't make me feel like when I see people fail to be like kind on a small scale.
Right.
I'm like, what are we really changing people's minds on a big scale? You know what I mean?
Okay.
So.
Well, you're definitely more cynical than you lay, because I've always known you as kind of a festive, gentle being, but your lack of faith in humanity is realistic and oddly disturbing at the same time.
But one-on-one, I can
one-on-one, you will coach them on how to put their carry-on in the fucking compartment.
Exactly.
And then
right.
once or you hit them on the head and go, "This is why you shouldn't. This can hurt you," right? And then they'll
exactly.
be, okay, I get it.
Exactly.
I love you, Dwayne. When can we see you next? Where can people find you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
I'm Dwayne Perkins on Instagram. DwaynePerkins.com is my website. My name is spelled Dwayne.
Right. I know. You're that guy.
I'm the first Dwayne Perkins. And so I'm out there. I'm on Twitter, and I'm doing a bunch of Zoom shows, and I usually will tweet or Instagram.
And that's just pure sets. You're doing sets on those shows.
Yeah, I'm doing sets. Every now and then, I've done like interviews, I've done talk shows, all types of things, but mainly stand up.
Well, that's good. But do you have the audience there with you? Can you hear people laughing or looking at the empty sofas or people touching their cats inappropriately?
Yeah, I can see people. Last show I did, a guy had his shirt off and he was in his boxer underwear. It was really boxer briefs. It was really weird. But what happens is they keep like everyone on mute except maybe 6 or 7 people.
Okay.
So you hear some laughter. Yeah.
You hear some laughter? Okay. Sorry, exactly. That was Matthew Broussard who just popped in.
Oh, that's my homie. Tell him I said what's up. Tell him I said what's up. Yeah.
I'm going to bring our next comic. Thank you, Dwayne. I love you.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you soon, and you'll come over for a little wine on the 15 feet away.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
I love you. My next comic is the lovely Franqui French, who I have not met yet, which I'm very excited to meet. Franqui, if you want to come on board here. Oh, what? Ew.
Hello, Iris. How are you?
I'm good. What do I call you, oh alien one?
My name is Ishka Bibble. Do not worry about Frankie. She's perfectly fine. She is on my spaceship. I mean, she's at my house. I'm a perfectly regular American human. Don't worry. I'm a Christian American person. My name is Ishka Bibble. Frankie is not being anally probed, so do not look for her. She's perfectly fine at home, minding her business. How are you, Iris?
I'm good. I'm very good. It's delightful to see you. I've been waiting to encounter an alien creature like you, Ishka Bibble.
I am not alien.
I'm sorry.
I'm a regular human person.
I'm sorry. It's taking me a minute to adjust.
It's very dangerous being an alien. I don't understand the American customs here today. It's very strange to me. Everyone's talking about the race this, race that. All I know is that all American humans are the same on the inside. How do I know this? Because I have eaten many of them. That is my time. Thank you so much. Good night, Iris. Good night. I will get your friend Frankie and you can talk to her.
You were delightful, even albeit briefly, getting to know you.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry about that. That's so weird. I don't know what happened.
Sadly, that's how I wish I looked half the time when I do these Zooms. I just want to have smooth turquoise complexion and not worry about the stress lines everywhere and just have, a nice big, that's it.
Yeah, do you see Ishka Bibble's lips? Oh, what a smoke show.
Wow. Very sensual.
Gorgeous.
Very sensual.
Very sexual.
I get why people get into the robot porn and the anime porn. I get it.
I mean, bada boom, bada bing. You see Ishka Bubble, how do you not want to hit that? You know what I mean? How do you not want to?
In the days of VR and bodysuits, it's all possible.
Exactly.
All possible.
Nice to meet you. That was a weird introduction.
Yeah, but that's okay. I think I tried to handle it well. Maybe I didn't handle it with as much grace as I would have liked. But if we ever did it again, I'll have a couple of lines ready. You know what I mean?
Perfect.
Why didn't you show up at dinner yesterday, or whatever? Touch me the way you used to, or something. Something like this. History.
Iris, you
Are you
saucy little
in,
minx.
are you in New York?
Mm-mm.
Where are you at?
No, I'm actually in Virginia, in Northern Virginia, in Centerville.
Okay.
Yeah, it's right. Where the fuck is that? I'm sorry. Am I allowed to say?
You can do that all day long. That's totally fine.
Okay. Plus, I'm black, so we have to let black people do whatever they want right now. I feel like that's only fair.
I understand. Is this like Appalachia? What are we talking about, Northern Virginia? Like how out there are we talking? Or is this like
Dulles Airport is like my backyard.
Okay, fine. That's what I thought. Okay.
Does that make does that put it in context a little bit? Yeah.
Okay. And is that where you're always based, or this is a COVID flea?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. And I know right now you're going, well, how, Frankie? Let me explain. So this is where I was based before I won Stand Up NBC. After that, I relocated to LA.
Okay. They promise you big dreams and fancy houses?
No, they promised me nothing. I just, wanted to get out there. They're like, you're going to die, kid. And I was like, perfect, know. So I went out there, to utilize and take advantage of that opportunity. I left January 20th, and then I came back here because I'm married and I have a daughter.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, gross. I know. Ugh.
How old?
She's 15. She just turned 15 July.
Nice. Okay.
Pretty.
Husband, wife, what?
Oh, it's my husband. Okay. Sometimes he's a dick, but whatever. I'm gonna keep him. So.
Okay. I never assumed. That's why I'm asking. So.
I know. I'm a whole bisexual woman. So before COVID, my husband and I are actually in an ethically open marriage.
Okay. The ENM, ethically non-monogamous. That's the acronym?
You know what? These words are new. This has been our life forever. We've been together now for 20 years. So this isn't like a new walk around the block. We've always kind of this has been our relationship literally from the time we met.
Was it like a precondition where both of you are like, we're not in a monogamy, we're going to be together, but we want to be with other people? How did this, or did it just organically happen?
So I guess probably what most people would find interesting or funny is that this is my thing. I love my husband. He's my partner for my whole life. He's just great, for me. And I think we can say the same vice versa, but he's not the only person. I don't know. It's just like, ew, I don't know. There's too many people and things happening in the world. And it's not even realistic, just in my opinion, to be 100% monogamous to one person forever.
Right.
Ever. Always.
Yes.
Ever, And maybe that's me being childish and maybe things will change later, but this has always been what it is and it works for us. And now the world is closed, so we have to start dating each other again.
Yeah, you're like, well, I'm just with you all the time. Right.
Yeah, but it's weird though, and this is gonna sound so disgusting.
Please dish it out.
Yeah, we got to a point where we were both like, before I murder you, we need to divorce. Like, I hate you. I'm pretty sure. I hope you hate me because I'm a monster. And then I don't know what happened. We just started really dating each other again, accidentally, and fell super in love again. It's really weird.
This all happened during COVID?
During COVID, yeah. I also, was pregnant at the start of COVID and had a miscarriage.
I'm sorry.
And it's fine now. It was horrible, but it's fine now. So yeah, we've gone through this weird roller coaster of,
Well, I feel like at least and I'm not minimizing, please don't take it as that, but at least stuff happened. You know what I mean? I feel like if there's no exciting activity or diversity on the outside, at least it's happening inside the home. You know what I mean? Can you imagine this drone of monotony and routine? If everything was just fine the whole time, it's like, Jesus Christ, what happened during these months? And you're like, well, I'll tell you what happened, a lot.
Yeah, nothing's been fine though, because, with just our regular day-to-day life stuff.
Yeah.
Because think about it, everyone's trapped in their house with themselves and people that they're closest to. You know what I mean? So think about that for a minute. What's going to happen if we just stick all these people, and whether you love, your family or not, or you feeling whatever your feelings are. Yeah, you're going to go and you're going to feel feelings. It's going to be a lot to deal with.
Yes.
And, this I think was a real test for everybody to say, okay, I'm married to you, or I'm with you, or whatever. I like you, but I love you, but do I like you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's that was the saving grace for my husband and I, is that we've always really liked each other. And, we were friends for, years first, and then.
I think a lot of marriages can sustain themselves into old age with people liking each other, not being in love with each other, a lot more than vice versa. Because if you're loving without liking, it's that unhealthy love that's usually lust or codependency or narcissism. It's not the real healthy, like, I appreciate, respect this person. It's like, oh God, I have these feelings for you, but you're such a dick. And it's a weird kind of dichotomy.
Well, we have those feelings too. No, I'm kidding.
That happens all the time too. Interesting. Well, I like that. Okay, so now you're in Virginia, right by the airport. You're not divorcing your husband.
No, I'm gonna keep him.
Okay. And at what point are you able to venture out to be with other people again?
So it's been pretty sporadic.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say paranoid, but and I'm not a hypochondriac, but
you don't want to risk it.
I don't want to risk it. And every little twinge, if I get a tickle in my throat or like some weirdness in my eye, I'm like, I have COVID. I probably had COVID in my mind 36 times. You know what I mean?
No, I've gotten tested 3 times because I was like, okay, Dodger Stadium. And then I go and I get tested. And I'm just
like, look, bitch, you're congested. You know what I mean? Go blow your nose. You know what I mean?
Shit, I'm menstruating. That's what it was. You know what I mean? Oh, my internal organs are bleeding. I'm like, yeah, that's just you with your. Yeah.
Right. My bones have turned to liquid. That's the only problem. My bad.
You did your NBC set. So this was obviously a network broadcast, had to be clean, or were you able, did they give you parameters? Were you able to talk about your life, your open marriage, your bisexuality, or is that no, you got to keep it did they give any guidelines on that?
No, so Stand Up NBC, they just want you to be funny. They want to see who you are as an entertainer and as an act. These are my opinions that I'm giving. I'm not sure what, they're necessarily looking for exactly. I think it's different for every person they select. Okay. So, but I think, they're looking from an industry perspective, obviously. Are you marketable? Are you original, witty, funny? Can you write? Those kind of things, what's your writing style? So, but no, they didn't give us, this wasn't a network. It wasn't on television.
It's not like Last Comic Standing. It's a different piece.
No.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So this is just a competition they hold in 5 different cities every year. Okay. Thousands of comedians come out and audition either in person or they submit a tape beforehand. There are 4 rounds. So the first round, you get 1 minute. Second round, you get 2 minutes. 1 minute? 60 seconds, girl. 60 seconds.
Come on now.
You gotta be funny in 60.
The age of TikTok. There it is.
Well, it's been this is the 16th annual.
Oh. So
it's been this way for 16 years.
Okay.
And I mean, so long before the current age of TikTok. So really, if you can't, and this is pretty much standard, I think. I don't know if other comics will agree, but I think that, there's kind of a rule. You have to make people laugh when you step on stage in 30 seconds.
Right.
So they're actually giving you another 30 seconds to, be funny and grab them quickly and engage.
I always use those 30 seconds or 60. I never think of that, but I used to get the energy up. You know what I mean? To kind of reel them in. Again, I know some comics can come on kind of very dry and have their own shtick, but I guess it really depends, on the night. But when you're doing the smaller venues, I feel you know what I mean? It's sometimes you have to just use that for some crowd work, but obviously there's no luxury of that when you're doing 1 minute of.
Girl, no, you don't have the luck. You barely have the luxury of saying your name. You really need to just walk. I'm not even being cheeky,
Yeah.
You got to walk up, grab the mic, and go right into whatever your thing is that you're going to say. Right. And when you see that light, you better be getting off the stage and wrapping it up. You know what I mean? It's not
I love that you won. I mean, did you find a lot of opportunities did stem from that?
Well, yeah, a lot of things were happening. I also write, so I have pilots and all. I have a lot of stuff, content and things to do and sell and work on. And things were going very well. I built my team, so I have management and a law group and person, and so I have people to kind of help navigate my career. But then the world shut down, and obviously my fault. So I came back to Centerville to quarantine, with my family.
Yes.
Because my worry was that they would stop domestic travel, and I didn't want to be, indeterminate. Separate. Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to.
You don't want to be in Encino when your daughter's like, Mom, we might be we can't breathe. And you're like,
Right.
no, I'm with you.
So I hopped a plane and came home, and I have yet to leave. And I mean, I actually need to go back to LA to go get my belongings because like my stuff.
Well, I can watch over your belongings if you need me to. Or just
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. How old is your daughter? How you said your daughter's 15, so obviously she's kind of aware of the world. She's not a kid. Does she know about your open relationship with your husband, or is she not aware? Like, when do you sit down and have that talk, or you just don't have that talk?
That's not her business, but she knows everything about me.
Okay.
She knows that too on some level. She's very smart. She's an openly gay woman. She's out at 10. So,
wow.
you know, I have no idea how I'm an idiot. My husband's a jackass. I have no idea how we made the person we made. She's responsible, intelligent. We're literally when the three of us go out, my husband and I are like mischievous little kids.
Right, and she's like, yes, please take it down a notch.
100% all the time. She's like, you guys are so embarrassing. I'm gonna need you to calm it down. This is your behavior is inappropriate.
Oh my God, I love it.
So yeah, I never came out. I came out to her though, because I never talked about my sexuality in my stand-up. And it's weird because it wasn't a thing I was hiding or, you know, that I thought people knew or didn't know. I never understood I had any sort of responsibility or was supposed to tell people what my sexual allocations or preferences were. Like, it just was never anything on my mind. Always growing up, I dated who I wanted. Sometimes it was a boy, sometimes it was a girl, sometimes it was both. And I never explained that to anyone. It was just kind of like, oh, you know, there goes Frankie. She's such a weirdo, you know what I mean? Or whatever they would say.
Yeah, but I love that because it's such a rare thing to have that kind of self-confidence, you know, growing up and not be tortured by, you know what I mean? Just be at peace with yourself.
Oh, I was not at peace. I was a nervous wreck about who I was all the time.
Well, but I'm saying it didn't affect your actions. I think that's as long as you're acting, I think we can never really get rid of the shit that's going on inside us. I mean, I'm not 20 anymore and I'm like still talking about stuff in therapy I talked about 20 years ago. I guess I'm never going to really improve the things that are plaguing me. And I've been talking about that for 20 fucking years. I'm like, you know what, as long as my actions change. So at least, you know, the outward part, maybe that'll affect the inner part, but that's the hardest thing is really what you do. You know, what you feel comes up and it's like, okay, you know, it comes and goes.
Agree with that for sure. I agree with that for sure.
You know,
but with my daughter, it was a little different when I was like, you know what, I should probably talk about this stuff on stage because it gives a more 360 kind of view of who I am.
Yeah.
But she comes to a lot of my shows. So I was like, well, it might be jarring for her to find out that her mom, you know, dates women and is married to her father. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sitting in an audience and I'm on stage. So maybe I should sit her down and talk to her. So I did. And she was literally just like, you wanted me to pause my show for this? Mommy, I love you. I don't care. Like
I'm watching Outlander. Do you mind? Yeah,
yeah. She's like, are you happy? I'm like, yeah. She's like, okay, great. Get out of my room. Bye. Go make dinner. I don't know. Whatever old adult people do. I don't know. You know, so.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So what do you got going on now? Where can people find you and all that fun stuff?
Yeah, the best place to find me and what's going on, if you're interested in anything I'm doing, I just go to my Insta page. That's probably the best.
Okay.
My website, I have a website, and you can go there and like, if you want to read my pilot or, you know, whatever, see pictures or whatever, you can go there and kind of tool around and watch my stand-up and have little things there, and like photo galleries if you're interested in that kind of thing. But to
do you have a 1 minute set on there? Because I want to see your 1 minute set.
My 1 minute is really short. It's literally, my opener was, I have the opening 1 minute because I have my NBC stand-up there, but the opening line was, I recently found out that I was 25% Irish, which I thought was weird. Then I remembered I got my DNA done at 23andMe too. So that was my opener, and and it's a slave joke wrapped in a DNA joke, right? You know, so.
I love it. That's great.
Right. So it's literally like in the first minute I got them to laugh, and then I can't remember the rest of the stuff. But yeah, you can see that first minute of that video was my audition.
Okay. I love that. Well, Frankie, thank you for coming on to my little festive variety hour.
Not a problem. Thank you for having me. Hold on 1 second.
Yes.
I just wanted to say goodbye to you. Thank you so much, Iris. This was fantastic.
Thank you. And those lips are to die for, I got to tell you.
I don't know what to tell you. I was born with it. It's not Maybelline. Okay, you have a great time with Mr. Broussard. He's a scientist. Tell him I said hello.
I will.
It's a fantastic show. Thank you, Felicia Madison. You all have a lovely day. Ishka Bibble out.
Thank you so much, Frankie French and Ishka Bibble. Thank you. I hope everyone's still having a festive time. Maybe you're eating, maybe you're on the loo at this juncture. I'm still here. I'm very excited to bring up my next comic. Lovely man who actually did my show at Stand Up New York about a year ago when I was doing my live X-ray podcasts with Raylan Casper White, my alter ego with a mullet. Definitely go to www.xraepod.com. Please go there. And you can check out Raylan with all her episodes. And I'd love to bring Matthew on. I know he's here. Let's bring him on. I am starving, by the way. I had a half a pint of, hello.
Hello, am I off mute?
Hey.
Hello.
How are you?
As you can see, I'm here in my apartment. I'm definitely not on the street.
You're on your
sidewalk
rooftop,
of Manhattan.
And you got the dangling mask. You got the one-ear
dangling mask
thing. Yeah.
The one-ear mask. It's like the one-strap backpack. It's all the kids' fashion these days. How are you doing? Frankie was so funny. That 23andMe 2 joke was really slick.
Brilliant.
I really like that joke.
Look, you gotta, like I said, I've never done these competitions, so I can't imagine the pressure of doing a 1-minute bit of like, you got to give in 1 minute. It's like, Jesus Christ, like what? Because then you feel like you're trying to force, but when it comes in organically like that, it's brilliant.
And I'm also a very not likable comedian. It takes about 4 minutes to warm up to me, so.
They're like, who's this asshole? And you're like, well.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you ever done those competitions? Those like Networky or like Montreal?
No, I've never done.
Okay.
Well, I've done like 5-minute showcase sets plenty of times, but never shorter than 5. 5's enough to really do some work, I feel. Some people complain about 5. I'm like, you can paint a picture in 5 minutes, get a bunch of tags.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can.
But America's Got Talent asks for like a 90-second clip, and even if I could come up with something, it would feel very shticky. You know what I mean?
It's like that.
It'd be like a ham-fisted. Yeah. I'm this guy, but also this guy. Wow.
Stay tuned for more. There's more in store.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's a teaser trailer. Yeah.
You have fantastic hair, Matthew. Can I just say,
thank you so much.
Is unbelievable. Look at that. I want to run my fingers through it. Is that a Me Too moment? I really do, though. It's like.
Oh, I'd love it. I'd pretend to not like it, but I'd like it. Yeah.
It feels so good. A lot of people have erogenous zones on their scalp. I mean, it really can get, when you get your hair shampooed, like at the thing, that's not, it can be intense.
Isn't it weird when you lay the fragility of laying your head back and letting the barber or hairdresser wash your hair?
Yeah.
I feel like a baby. I feel like I get these flashbacks to being an infant. You know what I mean? Of like, my life is in your hands. Please be
gentle. You can literally crack
with
your
me.
neck on that sink. And usually, I think they're getting better, but usually, and I've cut my own hair for years now because I don't want to deal.
Wow.
I know, but I just did it yesterday, and that's why this side is like 17 inches longer than that. But the sink is always so painful. Like the cold, I'm like, and now they started putting padding, but you're literally like arched, and it hurts. And I'm like, it's supposed to be pleasurable, and I'm arching my neck, and I don't know. It's bad design.
It's like someone's gonna karate chop your neck, It's so scary.
It's always like a mafia movie, right? There's always like the guys who show up and be like, hey,
Sweeney Todd you in your most vulnerable moment. Yeah.
Well, you men, you really have the blade, right? When they're doing that. Like when I traveled through India years ago, all these guys that I was backpacking with would always go to the guys that would literally with the machete, shave them with huge blades. And I'm like, oh man.
They do the back of my neck with that. I've never done a flat blade shave on my face.
It looks scary. It looks scary.
Yeah.
I don't know about
Supposedly it's really good though. It would make me feel rugged. I know how to do it, but I don't. It's like stick shift for your face.
Now where are you at in the city? What am I looking at?
Right now you're looking at 11th Street. I was doing a park show.
Oh, okay. 11th,
over here, and it got a little late.
11th and A?
I don't know. I just rolled up on my bike.
Okay. But you're like East Village, not West Village. East Village.
I think it's more central. I want to say like between 3rd and 4th Avenue. I'm at 11th Street Community Garden.
Okay.
Which is a park I didn't know about.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Where are you?
Through Stand Up New York or what?
This was just to put on by, there's a lot of pop-up outdoor shows. I did a Stand Up New York show earlier tonight as well. They
Okay.
run most shows in New York.
It's
but
insane.
a lot of people are
I'm
doing
so
their own shows.
happy for that. What do you think about that whole James Altucher Seinfeld debacle?
Did you see Chris Italia jumped in on it too, the owner of the Stand?
No.
He came back with
who was he defending? Was he defending James or Jerry?
He attacked what James was saying and attacked him fairly personally. And I feel like everyone's just being hyperbolic to get a rise. Oh,
Oh.
God, there's a puppy in front of me who's putting on a show. One sec.
Okay.
Man, oh, I gotta flip this. Can you see?
Oh, there it is. There's the genitalia. Okay, there we go.
It's a boy. All right.
Right to your crotch.
Yep. Yeah, so Chris put out something very strongly criticizing James and his attacked his comedy, called him an open micer who bought his way into comedy. It's like, guys, you're all just seeking out attention at this point. You're all wrong. It's just
I just don't know why these
tabloid
attacks
grab.
were so personal. Like, I've met James a handful of times, seemed very nice, smart. Again, I didn't know if he's liked or not liked, but I just felt like Jerry's attack was so personal. And I was like, why are you taking such offense? And again, people had valid points that the guy lives in a mansion, like he's completely isolated. We're talking about 2 billionaires, but it's like, you
2 billionaires
without attacking so personally. Like, why do you have to, call him a putz? Just say, I don't, New York's a lot. Like, I don't know. It just felt like they're in this, and the Stan guy too. Why are they so personal?
It's a great way to get attention. It's kayfabe is what they call it. It's just create a East Coast West Coast beef, and it draws attention, and people are much more drawn to conflict. It's funny because it's like James is like, oh, New York is dead, and Jerry and Chris are like, New York is not dead. It's like, how about New York is experience a 10 to 15% contraction, and will continue on, but at a slightly diminished rate? How come no one has that take? How come it has to be one extreme or the other? It's everywhere. It's social media. It's politics. You don't have to take fully one side or the other. There are gradations.
Yeah,
it's a spectrum, as they say. And it drives me crazy.
Well, it's also like, again, you do the clickbait, New York is dead as a headline, right? Okay. Fine. But then, and then everyone's like, well, you're a dick and you're a putz and you bought your way to come. You're like, okay, how about like, I just respectfully disagree, James, and I think New York has a life to itself. You know what I mean? It's like, the fact is the shitload is closing. A lot of people did leave, and it is sad. And a lot of restaurants are closing, and it's sad. I mean, I hope it comes back. It's like, it's not a complaint.
It'll be fine. It's not going to be a smoldering crater. It's how much it comes back. I also personally feel I would love the globalization of certain industries. I resent, for one, only being able to live in LA or New York for what I do. And I would love if Atlanta picked up a little bit more steam in the film world or something like that. Right. It's not a bad thing. You know
when you moved to Atlanta, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Atlanta, actually.
Oh, there you go. That's
and different parts of Texas.
Okay.
Great film scene there. I could live in Atlanta.
Yeah. I've never been to Atlanta. I loved Savannah. I fell in love with Savannah. That place is magic to me.
Never been, but it sounds mad. Yeah, it sounds beautiful.
I bet if I could live there, I'd probably be like, I'm the salty New Yorker, being rude to everybody. You know what I mean? I'd fall into that role, even though I'm not. I'm a New Yorker, but I'm not like rude. But I'd kind of take that on.
Yeah, but growing up in the South, and then I've been here for a couple of years now. When I come back, I do feel really rude and abrupt. I just got back from Alaska.
Ooh,
you want to talk about the sweetest people in the world? We just went for my girlfriend was between jobs. She just had a week off.
Oh my
and I have all my time off as a non-working comedian. I was free to go. We have antibodies, so we got the test. You just have to take a test.
Sick. You both had it.
We both had it, yeah.
Oh, how delightful. I'm so jealous. Were you like ill, or were you like, I'm mild, but now I have the antibodies?
She had basically nothing. I had a very mild case, never had a fever, never had any throat, nose, taste stuff, just was tired and sore for a couple of days. I had the flu in February, and I would have bet my life that it was COVID, and then I actually got it, and it was much milder than the flu in my case. And obviously, it's different for every person, and I won't speak universally, but it was easy to get through. And about half my friend group has tested positive for antibodies. In Manhattan and in Brooklyn, it's in New York, it's almost impossible to really avoid.
Oh my, I'm so jealous, dude. I'm in LA, and it's like, it's such a, you don't know how it's going to hit you. And I'm glad you have the antibodies because apparently people that have it very mild don't necessarily produce the antibodies. So I'm glad that you did because it's not a given. But I don't know how it's going to hit me. So you're just living in this constant like fear zone of, am I going to, because I had a friend who's 42, ended up in the ICU. You know what I mean? Like intubated for like 2-3 weeks. So it's like, so now you had it, you did it, and now you're like, yeah, we're good to go, at least for a while.
Yeah.
You know.
They say reinfection. It's very uncommon. There've been like 2 proven cases.
Yeah.
My whole thing was I was afraid of giving it to someone. That was way scarier to me. I'm 32. I've been very lucky with my health, and my whole philosophy of if COVID gets me, good for COVID. You know what I mean? If it's a horrible way to look at it. It was just like I just don't want to be responsible.
Yeah.
I don't want to be responsible for giving it to an old person or to my mom or something.
I know,
mean,
exactly. No, you're right.
I couldn't live with that. And that's, you know, both are very valid concerns because we still don't know how it affects any individual. But yeah, the freedom of antibodies. Oh my God.
So you got on a plane and you're just like, what? We're good. You're just breathing and you're like,
well,
woohoo.
Alaska makes you test negative within 3 days of the flight.
Okay.
So we had to go pay $100 for an instant test.
Okay.
And I also got tested at Dave Chappelle's. We drove to Ohio to see the Dave Chappelle show. And I ended up being, you know, asked to do a spot, which was
that's amazing.
Really cool. Very lucky. It was not like a regular thing. I'm not gonna like play it off casually.
Did you know him and went up?
No, but I knew someone who knew him.
Okay.
And I went out for coffee with that person, and Dave happened to be there, and we talked to Dave for a while. Dave was like, "Hey man, if you want to do a spot tonight, you got to go get tested." And he has this little thing set up where you can just go get tested in 15 minutes, and anyone who goes backstage at the show has to test negative. So we'd already tested negative at that point, but it was cool doing it.
Wow.
Like
on his
White House
property,
way.
like in his farm or something?
This is he set up a little shed in Yellow Springs, but I think he secretly owns most of Yellow Springs.
Probably.
Ohio.
Is he a nice guy? I'd probably be very intimidated by him.
You can't be. That's the thing about him. He's everything he leads on. He's that when you meet him, it feels like the guy you already know from television, from stand-up. He's so cool. I mean, his stand-up's amazing, but I think he's just such an impressive person.
Yeah,
well.
And then his latest set
this,
was so powerful too.
Yeah,
his ability to combine. Because I don't agree. Like I never liked the trans stuff, or when he gets to stuff that he says it's controversial. Sometimes it feels like he loses me a little bit. I think he's a brilliant comic, but sometimes it feels like, okay, dude, now you're feeling being contrarian, but without any back, like, you know. But this last thing he did was just like, it blew me away.
It was powerful, and he also, I mean, as a result of saying some of those contrarian things, has a fairly conservative crowd already.
Yeah.
And they got to hear his 846 thing, which is, it spoke to people who needed to hear it, not just people who already agree with him.
No, he's
and I was very happy.
You're right. He has a broad base, and it's not, he's not preaching to the choir all the time. So you're right.
Yeah.
He offends both sides equally. So I guess that's, that's a good way to be. Amazing. So what do you got going on? So Alaska was good. Your girlfriend's between jobs. At least she has a job or can get a job. What does she do?
She works in cybersecurity, which is a very safe industry right now. She upgraded, upgraded, that's disrespectful to her previous company. She switched within the industry to a field she found a little more interesting, and she's been doing great. She's been doing comedy for about a year now.
Really?
She started a year ago. We've been dating for 4 years. She started a year ago. She had a lot of an improv background. And we started doing comedy. It's been weird. We started a podcast about her doing.
Just don't do too much together, and then you're gonna be like sick of each other already.
We're codependent. We're like what Frankie.
Okay, then you're fine.
We don't split apart.
Well, I love that. Wait till you have kids then. That's great. Then you're never gonna. You're loving the quarantine.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's been nice getting out. New York is kind of reopening in a wonderful way. People are picnicking like crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm missing New York. This has been the longest I don't think I've ever been in New York. It's been I was there in January for a gig, and I haven't been back since. And it's like a pain in my chest. Like I miss it. It's hard.
Yeah.
I
don't miss LA.
What's that?
I don't miss LA.
Yeah, I'm happy being here. I mean, I moved here in August. I was in New York, and then I moved back here like a year ago. And I'm happy I was here during the brunt of the pandemic, because it's like, it wasn't bad here, and I have a house, and, and I went to Yosemite, and I traveled a lot, and I could drive, and I didn't envy people in New York that were like, when the shit was really hitting the fan and it was winter and people were like losing their mind. And I used to live in a 500 square foot apartment, you know what I mean? So it's like having that space. But now that New York's opening up, I'm like, oh, we're still stuck here. 5,000 new cases a day. Nothing's shooting. Great. So I'm just
Yeah, it's beautiful outside, but nothing else going on. What part of LA are you in?
I'm in Los Feliz.
Oh, nice.
No, I
Really?
love it. I love it. I mean, I do. I love it. And as long as you have a friend with a pool, that's my rule. You need to have one friend with a pool, and then life is just, it's like having a washing machine in New York. Like the minute I had a washing machine in my apartment, I felt like I was an adult again. Do you know what I mean?
It's like having a helipad is what I compare it to. A washer dryer. You show people pictures of it like it's your kids.
Yeah. I mean, when I first moved back to New York, it's like me and my son, and the laundry was in the basement, and it was me and a bunch of NYU students. And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm spending like $1,000 a month, and I got to go to the basement where I can hear mice and find quarters and buy tokens. I'm like, what am I in college again? It was so depressing. And then the next year when I got the washer and dryer, I literally had an orgasm. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It was a moment. It was a moment.
So, yeah.
Okay, so
one day I'll miss LA.
You should. I mean, look, LA's
I'm just
great.
not tired of New York yet. Yeah.
No. Okay. Well, you just moved there 4 years ago, so I hear you.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. And you may move to Atlanta. You'll see if the film industry kicks up a notch.
That'd be really
Back
cool.
to Atlanta. So where can people find you? Your Instagram was it Monday Punday? What is it again?
Yeah, Monday Punday on Instagram and Twitter, and I guess TikTok. I have a website called mondaypunday.com. Every Monday I post a visual pun puzzle that I draw.
Oh.
Actually, I'm taking a break right now, but if you're just seeing it, there's hundreds to catch up on. So if you like little mind games, that's where the name derives from.
Are you like a brainiac? Have you always been a brainiac?
I like puzzles.
You like puzzles?
I don't know if I give it a brainiac.
Right on.
I like little mind games. Yeah.
We have our musician here. Scott Bravo is joining us.
Oh, you can see me?
Scott.
I'm gonna. You can stay on. Just look pretty. Just caress your guitar. Look sensual. Thank you, Matthew, for coming on. And
thank you so much for having me.
When can I see your sets? Like, are you doing any live Zoom sets, or are you just doing outdoor shows now?
Not much Zoom on the calendar, sadly, but got some stuff on YouTube if anyone wants to watch me stand up.
Okay, good. Well, I'm happy that you're doing outdoor shows again. I'm jealous and I'm happy at the same time.
Well, I'm happy your friend has a pool, so.
Yeah. Please hit me up when you come to LA.
Will do. Let me know when you're back here.
All right, Matthew Broussard, thank you. Have a lovely rest of your evening.
Thank you. You too.
Talk to you soon. Bye. Hello, Scott Danger Bravo.
Hey, what's going on?
Guest of this evening. I'm happy you joined us again. Thank you for the musical button to our festive show. I wanted to let everybody know, if you're enjoying the show, please Venmo me so I can share moolah with the comics. As you know, it's a hard time for the comics and the musicians, and I will share everything equally. Before I bring Scott on, and I'm just going to let you play, and then I'll come on and say goodnight. I wanted to thank Westside Comedy Club and Felicia Madison for co-producing this with me. Westside Comedy Club also does outdoor shows, so go to their website and Facebook page and check out where those are happening. And please, follow me on Instagram, which is at iris.bahr. Follow me there. Lots of fun videos and other festivities and Instagram lives. Tomorrow I'm going live with Mark Ivanir, brilliant actor, Russian actor, who's on the new Netflix show Away. But you have seen this guy on a million different fucking things. So that's on Instagram. I think it's at noon, maybe 11. I don't know. Look at my Instagram. And I'd like to introduce, now thank you to my comics, Dwayne Perkins, Franqi French, Matthew Broussard. And I'd like to introduce Scott Bravo. Take it away, Scott.
Well, I wanted to say a couple of things first.
Please.
Number one, Savannah, Georgia, also one of my favorite places. I was there for 5 minutes and I said, this is heaven.
It's like a painting. It's a painting.
You can walk around with booze.
Yeah.
Sold. And also about the erogenous zones. When I was a kid, we used to do lice checks up in I grew up in a really rednecky school. I don't know if you do it in the city. I used to love it when they would run the comb through it was the best.
I'm getting chills down your spine. That comb
I was like, check again.
Did you have long hair?
I had longish hair.
I don't know can I see you? Can you turn your phone so maybe I get a fuller picture? Because right now I get the, can you go landscape and see if we get more of you?
Fuller picture. Okay, hang on a minute.
I don't know if you shift it or is it?
Did that work?
No? I just thought if you would do horizontal versus vertical, but don't worry about it if not. Whoa, yes, thank you. Much better. There
I am at my best horizontal. I
can imagine. I'm going to stop my video. I'm going to give you the spotlight and then I'll come back on. in about 10 to 12 to 12 and a half minutes to 13 minutes to 14. And
Oh, so do a couple songs then.
yeah, do a couple songs.
Here we go.
God bravo, everybody.
It's called The Juice. It's a song about doing what makes you happy all the time. The song is called Virgo's Burden. I don't know what that's called.
Beautiful. No, that was beautiful.
Just came to me.
It's really magical. I mean, I love it. I thought for a minute, my God, I wish I was there in person, because it sounds great, but I can't imagine, you know, it's that live, especially with acoustic guitar. It's like such a different world when you're
Well,
there.
oh, you're in LA. I was going to say I do Sunday open mics at Bahr 9.
Oh, wow. R9. Oh.
You're in LA, so
You got to drive
You're
cross
showing
country
LA
and do one here, just right here in my neighborhood, so I don't have to drive far. Just like, you know.
do you like it out there?
I do like it. I do like it. You know, you start liking it when you stop comparing. I think that disease of the compare despair, you know, people on the streets and life and culture, you know, and it's like, you got to really take, it's like boyfriends, right? You're like, let's not compare to the, you know, let's not remember the grass is like, what does this place have to offer? and what, and what can it give to me? LA is challenging for many people because it's a constant mirror. Your attention is always on yourself because there's not a lot of outside stimuli. So in New York, your whole life can go by without a lot of introspection because you're just out. You're like encountered with people. It's like that, you know what I mean? That stimulation overload, and you're just
Right.
out, you're moving and you're not stopping. And then suddenly you're like 70 and you're like, what? But here, where it's like the streets are empty and, and you're just kind of like, and you're in your car, you're like, I'm with myself and here I am on the street and, and oh God, it's post-apocalyptic and I'm driving 4 hours to see someone for 7 minutes. So it can bring up a lot of shit that you have to deal with, which is why they joke about the cliche of mindfulness and everybody's doing their spiritual practice. Otherwise, you're going to lose your mind. That's all. That's my 2
You'd think
cents.
it would be the opposite.
You'd think.
I think that New York would be like that,
Yeah. Well, no, I think people do too. But New York, you have to be working 24/7 to pay your rent. And here,
Right.
a lot of people can coast. You can have a perfectly fine little house even with a parking spot and not work for 7 months because there's enough space. You can't do that in New York unless you're living, I don't know. I don't even know where you can do that. At the end of Staten Island.
You have to build a time machine and go back to 1990.
Yeah, exactly.
I miss parking lots. That's what I miss from upstate New York. You take it for granted, and then you come down here and you're like, or my friends would be like, hey, if I come to New York, can we go to Brooklyn? I'm like, Brooklyn's a 3-hour train ride. Like, I know in your head you think, oh, it's just over there, but we're not going to Brooklyn. You go to Brooklyn.
Upstate. Maybe I'll drive cross country. I'm debating. I kind of want to get to New York, and we'll see. I've never gone cross country, so maybe it's time.
It's a good drive. You take 80, I think 80 across, or
Yeah, that's what my friend said. Yeah, 80.
66.
Okay, maybe I'll do that.
40, I think it is.
Avoid the states I need to avoid. Maybe go a little further north. go through Canada and then go back down. I don't know. Play one more song for us, Mr. Scott
Okay.
Bravo, and I want to tell people where they can find you and when you have next shows. Do you want to tell me where your next show is?
Like I said, I do the open mics at Bahr 9. I don't know if I'm going to do it this week. I've tried to keep my health. I'm not sure we're over it yet, so
I understand.
I've been out a little too much. But you can find me on Instagram at the Scott Bravo. I do a lot of stuff there, and on my Facebook page, Scott D Bravo Music.
Okay.
I like to use different names for all my social
I do that too.
media.
It's confusing to people. Sometimes there's a period, sometimes there's not. Sometimes it's like a whole other thing.
Underscore, capital letter.
So I'm gonna let you play one more song, and when you're done, I'm gonna wrap it up. So thank you so much for joining us. You're gonna be my regular music guy. I love you. So
that's great.
Thank you
Anytime.
so much, and enjoy Scott Bravo. Thanks.
All right, this song is called Waiting for Planet X, and I wrote it a few years ago in 2012 when I thought the world was going to end. And I know some people think the world's going to end now, but it's not ending. It's changing. So keep that in mind. It's not over. It's going to be different. We'll get back to normal. So, Waiting for Planet X. And that's
Thank
it. That's we usually play next.
I know. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.